Welcome to The Explainer. Every single time you hit play, you are quite literally rewiring your brain. Today, we're diving right into the fascinating journey of a song and how it physically alters our minds. For thousands of years, music has accompanied all the major moments that shape human life. But it's really only recently that neuroscience has been able to look under the hood and show us exactly how our brains change, predict, and function when we're exposed to rhythm and melody. So let's unpack why music has always been one of humanity's absolutely most powerful cognitive resources.
I want you to think about your own habits for a second. Why is it that we instinctively reach for that one specific song when we need to focus, or when we need comfort, or maybe just a massive burst of energy? Well, the next time you press play on your favorite track, consider that you aren't just listening to background noise. You are actually engaging one of your most evolutionarily hardwired cognitive tools. We think our musical choices just happen spontaneously because a piece feels right, but there is a profound, deeply biological reason behind that exact feeling.
Section 1. Your brain on music.
Okay, so let's look at the immediate neural symphony that happens the exact fraction of a second a sound enters your ear. It's wild. Within mere fractions of a second, music forces multiple, completely widespread neural networks to coordinate simultaneously. Before you even consciously register that you actually like the song, your brain is actively analyzing the pitch, the rhythm, the harmony, the tempo. Then, your memory immediately steps in, comparing this new input with patterns you've built up through past experiences. Your emotional systems are evaluating what it all means, and incredibly, your motor regions are already preparing your body to physically synchronize with the beat. Even your autonomic nervous system gets involved, tweaking your breathing and your heart rate. It is literally a full-body, immediate neural symphony.
And crazy enough, that's just from passive listening. If we add active participation into the mix, things get even more incredible. Just contrast the totally invisible nature of sound waves with their highly visible physical impact on the structural organization of your brain. When you sing, or dance, or actively play an instrument, you're integrating your auditory system with movement, attention, planning, and precise motor control. Because of neuroplasticity, the more senses you involve, the richer and stronger those neural connections actually become. Brain scans literally show that musicians have a thicker, stronger corpus callosum, which is basically the superhighway connecting the brain's two hemispheres. So long-term engagement with music actively leads to highly measurable changes in your brain's physical structure.
Section 2. The Science of Surprise.
Zooming out from that initial neural spark, let's explore how melodies actually keep us hooked. The crucial point here is that your brain is fundamentally a prediction machine. As a melody unfolds, your brain is already leaning forward, anticipating the very next note. In neuroscience, this is known as prediction error. It's this continuous loop where your brain constantly compares the melody it expects to hear with the notes that actually arrive in your ear. And it uses even the tiniest differences to refine its internal models of the world. So rhythm creates the structure, harmony builds the expectation, and subtle variations introduce the surprise.
This lands us right in the Goldilocks zone of music. Think about it. If a song is just a completely predictable loop, we lose interest super fast, we get bored, and we just tune out. But on the flip side, if every single note is entirely unexpected, like imagine a toddler just wildly banging on a piano keyboard, the whole listening experience becomes chaotic and honestly mentally exhausting. Music triggers your dopamine reward system by hitting that absolute sweet spot. It perfectly balances comforting familiarity with just enough surprise to hold your attention. It actually rewards your curiosity and highly motivates you to keep listening.
Section 3. Shaping our inner dialogue.
Let's move to the next layer of a song, the lyrics, and see how this builds our actual internal thought patterns. Actually, let's slow down for a second, because this is a really profound realization. To your brain, lyrics are just language. We tend to think of lyrics as just catchy rhymes, right? But our brain is constantly searching for their meaning, connecting those words with our previous life experiences. Repeated exposure literally weaves these lyrics into the mental frameworks we use to interpret our own lives. Language doesn't just reflect our thoughts. It literally becomes part of the physical architecture of how we think.
Since the brain learns best through repetition, it really matters what stories we choose to hear over and over again. If the songs on your playlist repeatedly portray love as nothing but suffering, or relationships as inevitable betrayals, or change as totally impossible, those narratives gradually become the literal glasses through which you interpret your own experiences. Conversely, music can absolutely foster hope, gratitude, and courage. The stories in your favorite songs are actively, constantly shaping your ongoing inner dialogue.
Section 4. Rhythm, Connection, and Regulation.
Let's step out of our inner dialogue for a moment and look at the physical room we're in. Music is an unbelievably potent social and evolutionary tool. Before people can build things or solve problems together, they need to find a shared rhythm. Just look at how this synchronization escalates. A predictable external rhythm is introduced, people start clapping or singing, their attention perfectly aligns in time, and eventually, no joke, even their breathing syncs up. The group literally begins to function as a unified, coordinated system. This is an ancient, hardwired tool for social cohesion, and it perfectly explains why sports fans instinctively start belting out the same chants together in a massive stadium without needing a conductor.
And it goes way beyond just relaxing or finding a quick burst of motivation. For thousands of years, we have utilized what is known as regulatory music. We're all familiar with things like breathing exercises for mindfulness, right? Well, humanity has intentionally chosen music to support very specific mental, emotional, or physiological states for millennia. Whether we need a boost of confidence, deep focus, creativity, or emotional stability, listening to music is a highly conscious, adaptable way of managing and relating to our own inner world.
The potential of this regulatory power is so incredibly strong that it is widely recognized in clinical settings today. Now, while it's not a standalone treatment on its own, music therapy leverages these regulatory benefits to drive powerful clinical outcomes. It supports stroke rehabilitation, it deeply helps care for people living with dementia, and it bolsters mental health. It naturally encourages physical movement, improves communication, and has this almost magical ability to bypass cognitive decline entirely to awaken deep, vivid, deeply personal memories.
Section 5. The Soundtrack of Life. Finally, let's zoom all the way out to the macro level and observe how this incredible cognitive tool maps across our entire lifespan. Of all the forms of human creativity, music is one of the very few that remains deeply, fundamentally meaningful at every single stage of life. Even before we are born, right in the womb, we respond to the rhythm of the human voice. In childhood, it acts as a scaffold for language, memory, and coordination. During adolescence, it helps us bravely explore and carve out our own unique identity. And in adulthood, it's there to accompany our relationships, our losses, and our quiet moments of reflection. Because the brain processes music right alongside our memories and emotions, a single melody easily transcends language boundaries and perfectly preserves the different chapters of exactly who we are.
You know, we spend so much time optimizing our visual environments, right? Seeking out natural light, buying plants for our offices, obsessively organizing our desks, but we rarely give that same deliberate consideration to sound. Every single time you choose what to listen to, you are actively designing the daily soundscape your brain continuously processes. You are choosing the environment in which you think, create, love, make decisions, and build memories. Even if that choice is just the gentle sounds of nature or simply pure uninterrupted silence, it is a conscious, absolutely critical design of your cognitive environment.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to reflect on this final thought. Every note you hear carries thousands of years of human history, connection, and shared experience. It's never just background noise. It is literally one of humanity's most powerful cognitive resources, actively shaping who you are and who you are becoming. So, with all of that incredible, transformative power in mind, what kind of soundscape are you going to build for yourself today?